In a world full of uncertainty, where every day's headlines remind us of crises, conflicts, and natural disasters, you want to know who truly has your back. Not just in battles fought with weapons, but in moments when you need a helping hand during disaster, a friend who quietly shares your joy, and a nation that dares to stand by you in your hardest times. The United States has dozens of allies across the globe. But today, we're not talking about all of them. We're focusing on 5 very special nations. They're bound to America not only by dry treaties and cold military numbers, but by something far closer and deeper: trust, friendship, and the invisible ties that connect everyday lives of people in both countries. You can see this friendship in an NBA game broadcast across the ocean, in a pop song from Toronto echoing on a New York radio, in a steaming bowl of ramen from Tokyo making its way to Los Angeles, or in the moment firefighters from half a world away come to help extinguish wildfires in California. And it's these seemingly ordinary details that form the foundation of a lasting alliance. Stay with me, because you'll be surprised to discover that there are nations who stand with America not only with weapons, but with culture, science, sports, and art. The things that touch your heart, make you smile, and remind you that the world is not so lonely after all. This is not just a list of 5 countries. These are 5 true friends. Friends you can count on to show up when it matters most. Canada, the neighbor under the same roof. Let's begin our journey with a friend right next door. Canada, the country that shares with the U.S. the longest border in the world. More than 400 miles stretching from the Atlantic to the Pacific, with no walls, no barbed wire, no fortresses, just shimmering lakes, snow-capped mountains, endless forests where you can walk or drive across and hardly notice you've entered another country. For America, Canada isn't just a neighbor. It's a friend under the same roof. Canadians and Americans live side by side along the border, work together in multinational companies, attend the same universities, even marry, have children, and create families with 2 flags flying side by side. This friendship isn't born from treaties, but from everyday life, from the little things people share. And that's why when something happens, the US and Canada don't have to call each other allies. They simply call each other good neighbors. One of the best symbols of this bond is NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command. It sounds serious, with radars scanning the skies day and night. But did you know every Christmas, NORAD transforms into Santa Claus's official tracker? Millions of kids in the US and Canada log in to see where Santa is flying. Has he already dropped presents in Paris, Tokyo, or New York? It's a fun little tradition, but it proves something deeper. Even the sternest military radar can turn into a bridge of joy, weaving 2 nations closer together. An alliance not only written in reports, but living in the smiles of children. And when disaster strikes, this friendship shines even brighter. During California's devastating wildfires, Canadian firefighters crossed the border to help battle the flames. And when Canada needed assistance, American volunteers, equipment, and financial aid poured in without hesitation. In North America, people say, if your house is on fire, your Canadian neighbor will knock on your door, roll up their sleeves, and fight the blaze with you. Beyond crisis in everyday life, the US and Canada share countless cultural bonds. The NHL keeps fans in Toronto and Chicago holding their breath with every puck. Singers like Justin Bieber and Celine Dion, born in Canada, but embraced by Americans as their own stars. The Tim Hortons coffee chain, a Canadian icon, has become a beloved meeting spot in U.S. border towns, where conversations flow as easily as coffee across the border. This isn't just a political alliance. It's a cross-border cultural relationship where national boundaries often blur into one shared community. And maybe that's what makes the US-Canada friendship so special. In good times, they share music, sports, food, even Santa Claus. In hard times, they share help, comfort, and solidarity. It's a friendship unspoken, steady, and as enduring as the Rocky Mountains that stretch between them. So when crisis comes, the US and Canada don't need official summits or long negotiations. They just look at each other and know we're neighbors. And neighbors always show up for one another. Australia, the brother from half a world away. Over 12,000 kilometers away on the other side of the globe, there's a brother who is always ready to speak up. Australia. It may sound far, crossing the Pacific Ocean, flying through countless time zones, but when needed, Australia always shows up beside America, as if that distance were just a few steps away. What's remarkable is that this friendship isn't written only in official documents or summit speeches. It's alive in the most ordinary images. One of the most beautiful symbols of that bond is military dogs. Americans and Australians have trained side by side with these special canines, those four-legged warriors tasked with detecting explosives and protecting soldiers on the battlefield. Picture it, an American soldier and an Australian soldier standing shoulder to shoulder, each holding a leash as their dogs step forward together. No words needed. The eyes of the dogs and of their handlers say it all. I trust you and I will walk with you. That kind of partnership shows itself not only on the training ground, but even more powerfully in life and death moments for ordinary people. In 2019 to 2020, the world watched in shock as Australia endured the Black Summer fires, one of the worst wildfire seasons in its history. Flames swallowed millions of hectares of forest, destroyed thousands of homes, and killed countless animals. In that moment, hundreds of American firefighters crossed the globe to help. They didn't just bring hoses and gear. They brought solidarity. Handshakes, pats on the back, words of encouragement, they became points of light amid the smoke and ash. And a few years later, when Oregon and California were engulfed in flames, it was Australia's turn. Australian crews boarded planes bringing fire engines, expertise, and sheer determination. The sight of Australia's green and gold flag flying on American highways brought tears to many eyes. People realized then an ocean may divide them, but nothing divides their hearts. This friendship also lives in simpler things. Culture and entertainment form a strong bridge between the two. Hollywood and Sydney have teamed up on blockbuster films, turning Australian beaches and the Sydney Opera House into iconic movie backdrops. And of course, every American fan knows names like Hugh Jackman, the fierce Wolverine, or Chris Hemsworth, the hammer-wielding Thor from Down Under. These stars don't just shine on screen, they make Americans and Australians feel like they belong to the same cultural family. Even in sports, the connection is clear. Whether it's basketball, rugby, or the Olympics, both nations show up for each other. Australians are crazy about the NBA, while many American athletes see Australia as a favorite place for training and competition. From training side by side with bomb-sniffing dogs, to fighting deadly wildfires together, to laughing out loud in Marvel movie theaters, everything proves one truth. 12,000 kilometers is just a number on a map. It has never been a barrier to friendship. Australians have a saying, "No worries, mate." And truly, if one day America faces hardship, you can be sure that from half a world away, you'll hear that familiar voice with its Aussie twang. No worries, mate. We've got your back. Number 3. Japan. Bridging tradition and technology. Perhaps no relationship in the world shows the power of reconciliation and the rebirth of friendship more clearly than that of the United States and Japan. Once fierce enemies during World War II, these two nations turned the pain of the past into a bridge of cooperation. A journey from the ashes of war to one of the strongest and most admirable friendships of the modern era. Today, Japan is not only a strategic ally, but also a familiar presence in everyday American life. You can see it everywhere. American kids grow up with anime like Dragon Ball, Naruto, and Pokemon. Generations of gamers were shaped by Nintendo and PlayStation icons born in Tokyo and Kyoto. And across U.S. cities from New York to Los Angeles, sushi bars and ramen shops have become part of daily dining culture. From pop culture to cuisine, Japan has left such a deep mark on American life that sometimes people forget it's imported. But this friendship goes far beyond entertainment. In the realm of science and technology, the US and Japan are writing the future together. From building the world's most powerful supercomputers, to developing robots that serve in healthcare, to researching next-generation EV batteries, the two nations collaborate not just for defense, but to create a greener, more humane future. The sight of American and Japanese engineers sitting side by side in labs exchanging ideas in both English and Japanese proves that friendship isn't defined by language, but by shared ambition. And there is one moment forever etched in the hearts of the Japanese people. In 2011, when the devastating Tohoku earthquake and tsunami struck, the entire nation was shaken. Tens of thousands lost their homes. Hundreds of towns were destroyed. Amidst the rubble, the U.S. was the first to reach out. Operation Tomodachi Friend in Japanese deployed tens of thousands of American troops, aircraft carriers, relief planes, and most importantly, compassion. The Americans didn't come as foreign soldiers. They came as true friends. And Japan will never forget that in their darkest hour, they were not alone. That is the deepest message. True friendship doesn't only appear in joy, but shines brightest in tragedy. The US and Japan endured pain, but chose to rise together. Today, they are not only military partners, but also two cultures interwoven from manga to technology, from family meals to advanced laboratories. And in that we see one truth. The real strength of friendship doesn't lie in erasing the past, but in turning it into the foundation for a better future. Number 2. United Kingdom, the special friend. People often call the relationship between the US and the UK a special relationship. But if we put it in everyday language, it's more like a friendship between soulmates. Two friends who can tease each other about accents, about tea versus coffee, or about driving on the left versus the right. But when life gets serious, when real challenges arrive, it becomes a bond as strong as steel. Just look at culture. From Liverpool, the Beatles created a musical wave that had American youth going wild in the 1960s. Harry Potter, the boy wizard from Britain, became part of childhood for millions of American families. And Shakespeare, even though he lived over 400 years ago, is still quoted on Broadway stages and in classrooms across Boston and New York. Music, literature, cinema, everything from Britain has seeped into American life, forming a shared heritage that transcends borders. In entertainment, this bridge is even clearer. Hollywood and London's West End swap actors and directors like friends, exchanging gifts. A star might perform on Broadway in the summer, then appear on the West End stage in the winter. And audiences on both sides of the Atlantic feel like they belong to the same stage. Sports Americans may love football and basketball, but in recent years they've become die-hard fans of the Premier League. Bars in New York pack out with Liverpool and Manchester United fans every weekend. Meanwhile, the NFL has staged multiple games in London, with tens of thousands of British fans cheering as though they've followed the sport their whole lives. And then there are the moments that go far beyond culture or sport, moments etched into history. After the tragedy of 9/11, Queen Elizabeth II broke with more than 600 years of tradition by allowing the royal band to play the U.S. national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner, outside Buckingham Palace. As the crowd stood in silence, the song rose like a whisper, "In your pain, we are here with you." That image became one of the most powerful symbols of US-UK friendship in the darkest of times. So yes, the two countries may joke with each other. America invented coffee to go while Britain still clings to afternoon tea. Or who pronounces schedule correctly. But when life gets serious, they both know this is a relationship nothing can break. A friendship between soulmates, sometimes laughing, sometimes debating, but when the storm hits, they always stand side by side. Israel. Friendship born from survival. When we talk about America's true friends, we cannot overlook a small country in the Middle East whose influence far exceeds its size, Israel. What makes the US-Israel relationship special isn't just diplomacy, it's the bond forged through the shared experience of survival. Both peoples deeply understand resilience, the strength to rise again after hardship, and that has become the foundation of a lasting friendship. Israel is often called the startup nation, and indeed, Tel Aviv has become a second Silicon Valley. From cybersecurity, artificial intelligence to fintech, thousands of projects have been born from collaborations between Israeli companies and America's Silicon Valley. When the US faces tech crises, whether in data security or AI, more often than not, Israeli startups are the ones delivering bold, rapid solutions, reflecting the survival instinct that runs deep in their DNA. But technology in Israel isn't limited to labs or software. It touches everyday life. The country pioneered advanced desalination systems capable of turning seawater into fresh drinking water. That very technology has helped California during droughts, bringing clean water to millions. This isn't just cooperation, it's proof that when a people have had to fight for every drop of water to survive, they will willingly share that lifeline with their friends. And this friendship is also nourished through community and culture. Jewish Americans and Israelis are closely tied through programs like Taglit Birthright, where tens of thousands of young Jewish Americans travel to Israel each year to connect with their roots, while exchanges in the opposite direction flourish as well. Universities, research centers, and startups from both countries constantly swap talent, making the US-Israel relationship a continuous flow of ideas and ambition. Think about it when an Israeli medical innovation saves a patient's life in Boston, or when a US AI platform is shared with Tel Aviv. That's not just economic exchange. It's a message that says, I understand your struggle for survival because I've lived it too. It's precisely this shared experience of survival that has made America and Israel inseparable allies. One is a global superpower, the other a small nation in a harsh region. But both know that creativity, resilience, and genuine friendship are the strongest weapons of all. And when two peoples understand what it truly means to survive, they naturally become friends, not just on paper, but in the beating of their hearts. So we've just taken a special journey. From Canada, the neighbor under the same roof, to Australia, the brother from half a world away. From Japan, the living proof of reconciliation, to the UK, the soulmate across the ocean, and finally Israel, where friendship is born from survival itself. These 5 nations have proven that true friendship isn't written only in treaties nor confined to diplomatic documents, but etched into memory culture and everyday acts of sharing. Think about it, a cup of Tim Hortons coffee across the border, a military dog trained side by side with a comrade, a Japanese bento on an American dinner table, a Beatles song playing on the radio, or an Israeli water system saving millions during drought. Each of these tells the same story in a chaotic world. The greatest strength is not weapons, but the friendships you can truly rely on. And now I want to hear from you. Which nation do you think is America's most loyal friend? Drop the number in the comments below and share your thoughts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because in the next video we'll uncover hidden, surprising, and untold relationships. And who knows, what you discover might just change the way you see the world.